So on to the callers' points. Probably. I'm still not talking.
I mean, well, one thing you mentioned is how like players respect the game or coaches. I mean, I think you're really correct on that. I think league players and probably a lot of esports players, I think it's hard for them to respect the coach. I think part of it is because their success is derived from them disobeying their parents, pretty much. So like a big authority figure in their life, they've had success by not listening to them. I mean, I got to where I was playing League because I didn't go to sleep or I didn't study, and I had to fight with my parents about that kind of stuff. I'm sure almost every pro went through that, where there's like, I'm not listening to you. I'm going to go play this game, and now they have success. So putting them in a situation where they have to go listen to someone, it's like, well, I mean, they got to where they were not listening to people, and now they're being forced to listen to. Like, that's a weird kind of transition to what they've been used to. And I think this is pretty true to like everyone. And also in regular sports, you're kind of trained with a coach when you're young,
Traditional.
right? At traditional sports, you're trained with a coach. So when you're younger, you had a coach, and now you have a coach, so it's okay. But these esports players, they never had a coach, and then when they finally make it somewhere, they have someone telling them what to do, and that's, I think, a big shift. I will say I also agree with like the leadership is kind of weird, because when you're playing solo queue, you're taught to hate your teammates pretty much. I don't think anyone plays solo queue and is like, wow, I'm really glad I got this team. Like, no, you play solo queue and you're constantly pissed at the people who are on your team. So it does make you really isolated as a player until you finally branch out and find your duo queue partner or something. But I think that problem exists in every region. So I don't think this is like NA specific. For like leadership issues, I think it's just kind of the way the game is. And I think a lot of the personalities that played League yet don't have natural leadership capabilities.
Yeah.
And even if they do, no one really wants to listen and take orders from someone.
That's sort of why I'm bringing this up, is because I think that if we want NA to make it in any meaningful way on the international stage, we have to find a way that we can play the game better than another region. Because when you're taking like the LCK and the LPL, just importing players over to our teams to have to be on even footing mechanically speaking isn't necessarily a great strategy. Like in NA, one of the benefits that we have is that there, I think, is a lot of room for skill expression in every lane. Like players are really creative in the Western regions, and they don't just do exactly what their coaches tell them. So even though that could be seen as a problem, it also could be seen as a solution. Like sort of the way that G2 plays the game, like really strangely, I guess, to me or to a viewer, but because they're all on the same page, like about, or at least most of the time, like it kind of works. And I think that like you see the way that if LCK and LPL and those teams are like culturally like built to like really respect their elders and respect like the way their coaches view playing the game, like we could have in-game leaders that sort of bring what the coaches have externally to the inside of the game, so that like you could see like a player like High bring a team together on the international stage and like make the right calls at the right time to outplay this team instead of having to win lane against all of these mechanical gods.
I mean, but like, it's one thing. I think we've really extrapolated this topic from a specific instance that I can kind of agree with, potentially with like CLG and Smoothie. I don't think this is even close to fair to talk about G2 in the same capacity. G2 is not like this team with a bunch of fucking lunch pail to work, oh, we're so like, we're just out thinking everybody. They're fucking amazing players. Caps is dirty. Wonder's dirty. I watch Perks and Wonder before they got Caps and before they got Mickey. They were already slapping the shit out of people on the world stage. They like 2v5 their way, because it wasn't Hjarnan and Wadid. No offense to those guys. They're good. I don't want to make fun of them. But that was the Perks and Wonder show, and they carried them to semis, right? In 2018. Right? Like, they're fucking good. It's not like it is not, G2 is not this just only big brain team. And it's not like, oh man, they're 5 guys with great leadership qualities, yada, yada, yada. Like a lot of the best teams, you know, you're not going to there's a great joke, you know, when someone dunks the ball in basketball and soars over 3 defenders, you're not like, wow, what a smart player. You know, it's like he's fucking 6'8" with like a 40-inch vertical. That's like what G2 is. A lot of their players on a mechanical level. And so like it's not just like they're sitting there. You know, we got to mimic. Yeah. It's like if you can give me a player like Wonder, you know, and I'm sure coaching has to do with it. And he's very smart about the game and stuff like that. But it's not just, wow, look at that split push rise 26 minutes in the game. They're doing other stuff. So I think we've gone past where this concept can apply.
Well, let me counter one more thing because I think that maybe this other example is a bit more relevant. I see what you're saying there. That was probably a bit of a reach. But just like I'll bring up IMT's scoreline compared to TL's scoreline right now, and Zabutine saying like basically while they may not have the best players in the league, they have a group of smart players, and like although their games have been like pretty scrappy, and that's an understatement. Like they are getting wins, and I think that we may see that idea play out the rest of the season with IMT being in playoffs and TL like being at the bottom of playoffs or maybe not even in it, depending on how things go. I just think that having intelligent players that are all on the same page in the game, while maybe unrealistic right now, is something that we should strive towards, and that the tools that we have in the base game of League of Legends to develop those skills are really lacking, and I think that's something we need to solve if we want to move forward as a.
Well, I guess just to wrap it up, it's funny because you started to bring up the idea of in-game voice chat, and immediately I was like, because we've handled so many callers in the past, I kind of just like go off on tangents to campaign for their personal initiatives. But actually, I think it was a really interesting point, and it's one that probably kind of followed up, which is like sometimes I think we miss that fundamental features of the way people interact with this game echo out into the pro scene. So I thought it was a good one. Hey, thanks, Quoz, for the call. Anything you want to say before we move on to the last caller?
Yeah, no, just thanks for having the show. I guess it helps a lot of us who don't really follow League of Legends too often to know about things going on in the scene. And it helps people interact with the game. So thanks to you guys for having me on the show. And yeah.
Thank you so much for the call. That's super nice of you. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Isn't it frustrating how Broxa isn't over here yet? He's got his visa situation. It kind of makes it so that if a team beats Team Liquid, there's like an asterisk next to it, and Team Liquid's sucking. It's just like, man, you wish you could have something more dependable, more reliable, like an Alienware machine. That's right, they're my sponsor. You can check the link out in the video description below. Helps me out a ton if you do that. Love Alienware stuff. We've been using their hardware for everything we've been doing for the past year and a half now, I think. And it's just fantastic to be able to bring all this high-end gear with us to create videos like this one. That's why you're watching this in 4K, by the way. We didn't do that before the Alienware sponsorship. I don't know if you even have a 4K monitor, but guess what? If you need one, you can go over to alienware.com/Travis and check out their monitors. Either way, thanks so much for watching this. Please subscribe. Trying to hit 200K. That's my mission. It makes me happy. Goodbye.